Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to do not one, but two chapter reviews of My Hero Academia. I'm joined by Lucky Cheese 7.
Yo, guys, what's going on?
Let's see. The reason this is a double chapter review is because I ended up being too late to review the last chapter, and I ended up needing to do it. And so it's like, okay, I'll do a double chapter review for Lucky Chi this time, because unlike the anime for My Hero, he's actually read them both.
That and, well, last week was a bit busy on my end. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm 7 episodes behind of reviewing My Hero, but I can at least keep up to date with the manga. But heck, I'll try and get that sorted out with the anime soon, just so I can get to My Villain Academia on a weekly thing. But yeah. Spoilers if anime watchers, but then again, I doubt any anime watchers would probably be going this far into the manga. But yeah, anyway, let's see. We've got a quite long. Anyway, chapter 313, which is continuing after like Midoriya's battle of learning that after Lady Nagant, I think it is.
Yeah.
Let's see, having the airwalk quirk that All for One used against All Might in like the hideout raid arc thing. But the chapter begins of like it's revealed that All Might's car had survived the explosion aimed at his thing due to the fact of how strong Hercules been, but he'd blown to bits, but he's still being attacked by these two henchmen-like villains with like these exploding sticks. Let's see. And All Might's attempting to try and contact the other heroes. However, the car finally, gets destroyed, or at least most of the thing. Let's see, but the villains now realize that it's actually All Might, but let's see. But they do, which kind of shocks them at first, but then they remember that, yeah, All Might is, is sort of powerless now, which they try to take advantage of. But however, All Might, in a sort of badass moment, tells them to stand aside, and in a sort of righteous fury, due to remembering the promise that he did to like Midoriya's mother about how much since someone like Midoriya idolizing stuff, he will not let anything happen to him until it happens to that kid is the day he dies. He won't let anything happen to him or anything. Let's see. Yeah, so he's not allowing anyone to harm him as long as Midoriya's around and all that stuff. He will not die before Midoriya and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome moment if you ask me. And it shows that even without his powers, All Might can still be intimidating to villains. Anyway, we go back to Midoriya's battle with like with the sniper, as he's trying to make distance between her and all that stuff, and it still keeps getting shot. And he does really contemplate on the fact that, of course, All for One would give, a contractor or assassin, an extra boost to take him out. I do like how she uses her sniper rifle to shoot in order to make her fly in the air. So, yeah.
That is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. With Midoriya trying to think of the attack, he ends up trying to use the 6th quirk of Smoke of Full Blast, which allows her to comment and which makes the fallen hero, the sniper, I think her name Lady Nagant, right? Is it Nagant?
Nagant, yeah.
Yeah. Nagant comment that Midoriya also has got multiple quirks. But granted, but Midoriya gets reprinted by the quirk user of like putting too much smoke at a risk. Although, he's trying to escape, though, Midoriya tells him that he's not trying to escape. He is something else in plan, and he starts to get into some position, which the 6th quirk says, like, this is too dangerous. And then, with someone also agreeing, and it turns out it's the 3rd quirk user, as we finally get his full face thing, telling him that Midoriya's, he knows what he's trying to do, but he's not yet proficient in using his quirk. In fact, they haven't even tested using his quirk, but Midoriya says it's a bit too late for now. And So he knows what Lady Nargant needs to do. It's Lady Nargant would like in order to beat Lady Nargant. Let's see. Given the fact that he needs to capture her because he needs to find her because she is his best lead of finding All for One and Shigaraki next. So he's going to learn this quirk on the fly, and we finally get the third quirk uses ability. Fajin.
Yep, that's how you say it. It's Fajin.
Which as the Lady Nargant tries to shoot Midoriya again, but from the smoke. Once he comes at the smoke, well, it's actually more of a decoy of his like cloak with the black, with like Gran Torino's cape with the black whip. Let's see, as he tries to end up shooting, then it ends up looking like his backpack, then his headgear, but let's see, and then Midoriya comes out, let's see, using more of a piece of his clothing as decoys. And then Midoriya jumps up in the air and then grabs him. Let's see, revealing that he was not in the smoke, and she is captured. So that's the end of the first chapter. Let's see.
It's pretty simple, but I gotta say it's simple but effective. I think is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. Now the highlight is Midoriya using the third user's quirk. But before we get to that, I want to just comment on like the All Might stuff at the beginning. Let's see. I mean, I've already said like I kind of like how, despite All Might, being powerless, he can still intimidate villains.
Yeah, like I like how he still has a bit of a role to play. I mean, we've known he's had a bit of a role to play, but it's a bit more in the open now.
Yeah, since one of the downsides to say of the Rise of the Villain saga is that All Might took a more passive role in that arc because he was powerless. But now that since Midoriya's out of school, he gets to be like a sort of younger version of Alfred, I guess. That's the best
depends. If we're looking at Alfred currently,
yeah.
Oh, I should mention this arc. So we know it's the final act saga is what we're in, but this arc actually has a name. Believe it or not.
What's it called?
It's called the Villain Hunt arc, which is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's nice. So it's definitely clear that Midoriya is currently hunting villains. Though how many of and mostly the ones that are breaking out of prison. Though how many of them we're going to see? So far it's been Muscular, Lady Nargant, and of course Overhaul, but we'll get to him yet.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I can think of that are left are Stain and Moonfish, though I'm not sure if they'll be in this arc, because I feel like Stain will be a much bigger role coming down later down the lines. Granted, there might be some other villains that have from the Hideout Raid arc, but I don't think I think of anything more noticeable than the Sniper at the moment. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that. It seems like there also seems to be some minor villain henchmen because I think that's I suppose one of the benefits of the world of My Hero Academia is that you have henchman villain for like the background characters, side characters to show their moves off and that stuff.
And to be fair, that is a very superhero thing because like you've had that even like with Joker and with Mr. Freeze. Like that's always been like a supervillain thing where you've got like layers upon layers of people behind their
especially in the movies, it allows the heroes to do some action before fighting the final villain and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Well, granted, I will admit for the first Avengers movie, the henchman thing were like the final opponents, really. Okay, granted, there was also Loki, but he got easily taken out by the Hulk, which was funny.
He was a punch. Let's be fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I do. But yeah. So despite these minor villains thinking, "Ooh, we can take out All Might now," it's like, "Oh man, we're so scared." Granted, we still have no idea what's happened to All Might, but yeah. But I do like how his determination of trying to protect Midoriya and remembering his promise, given how much that let's see. So it's like, due to the fact that Midoriya idolizes All Might so much, is that he will not let anything happen to him, and that's not until the day he dies, which, who knows, it might bring up that, predicted, prophesied death that Night Eye predicted of All Might, but let's see. But let's see, granted, the end of that his arc, the overhaul arc implied that All Might be able to escape that fate, but we don't know yet.
Just gotta wait and see.
Yeah. For all we know, All Might still could end up being, let's see, Midoriya's Obi-Wan in terms of mental death.
Yeah.
Because the Obi-Wans usually bite the dust eventually in the series.
Definitely.
But yeah. Let's see, but yeah. So let's see, but anyway, one thing I do, let's see, but another highlight, let's see, before we get to the highlight of this arc, I do, let's see, the great we've mentioned, I do like how, let's see, Lady Nagant has been using the combination of both her quirks to fly and to move about in the air and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially using her sniper rifle thing to push her forward and all that stuff. It's like she's got her own little mini jetpack thing. But yeah. Or either that or she just see. Now, granted, I could also mistaking it of her just being so good with her sniper skills, she can shoot behind her back and still try and hit Midoriya. But yeah. The one highlight, of course, is that we finally got the identity of the third user's quirk.
Third user, yeah.
Jin, which seems to be a sort of acrobatic type of quirk. I mean, let me just see if I can.
I think you're accurate on that.
Let's see. I'm just taking a look at the My Hero Wiki. Let's see. Apparently, the user apparently. Apparently it allows him to gather kinetic energy to allow him to do massive jumps and stuff.
Yeah, so it's nothing like broken, to say the least.
Yeah, it seems to be based on a Chinese martial art technique. So yeah, so it seems to be more. This quirk is more based on Asian rather than the previous ones, which could be based on more Western, I guess you could say. Okay, granted, the smokescreen one could be also you like ninja smoke bombs, but still. But I think some people might compare that to a Batman smokescreen thing. But yeah, Black Wick, everyone compared to Spider-Man, Float, Superman, Danger Sense, well, Spidey Sense practically. Lucky Chi is still there. Have you just muted yourself? Hello? Lucky Chi? Lucky? Hello? Okay, Lucky Chi is currently muted. Let's see, I don't know when he will be back, but I will currently go on. But for the score of this chapter, I will give it a 8 out of 10. It's a solid chapter, and let's see, due to the fact of All Might, determination to not die and all that stuff, before, to save Midoriya, before all that stuff. And also the reveal of, the third user's quirk, and it seems to be some sort of martial arts kind of one. But we haven't got the full descriptions of it yet. So yeah, we're going to the next one. Lucky Chi, you there? Okay, Lucky Chi is still not back yet, so we'll continue on to chapter 340, The Lovely Lady Nagant. As we see Midoriya, as we continue on with Midoriya grabbing onto her, and she's trying to with Midoriya commenting about how the best way to get to snipers is to handle them close, and he's and is now interrogating her to see, okay, where is All for One? Oh, Lucky Chi, you back?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so anyway, I was just commenting on the previous chapter about it being a Chinese martial arts style, and this seems to be more of an Eastern-based Ritzy quirk than the previous ones, which seem to be a bit more Western-based, though. I guess maybe Smoke could be counted as both Western and East Asian.
It does give it more of a variety. I'll definitely say that for sure.
Yeah, because the Black Whip was Spider-Man's, many compared it to Spider-Man's Spider Whip and all that stuff. Float was pretty much many regard as Superman flying, or just superheroes in general flying in the American comics. Danger sense, but everyone just says, okay, it's Spidey sense.
Duh. That's like super obvious.
Yeah, and the smoke screen one could either be a reference to Batman using smoke gadgets to escape, or maybe you could even do like smoke for like ninjas using smoke bombs. I guess it might either be a Batman or not a reference, possibly, but we don't know yet. I mean, I haven't really. Plus, I also haven't checked the wiki, but this Quirk Fajin is pretty much Chinese martial arts. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. It's Chinese rather than Japanese, but heck, heck, I'm not one to heck. Asian cultures do get inspirations for each other.
True. Well, and like I said, that does give the Quirks more variety and different constructed and everything. So I think that's cool.
No, granted, I'm just partly thinking about how My Hero Academia did get in trouble with China last year with the name of that, let's see, Quirk scientist. That over one.
Sensitivity at its finest, folks. Sensitivity at its finest.
Well, let's see. Well, that's just more of like, I think that's more of just Japan's political history, but and China's political history and all relations. But that's something. That's probably a stream and topic for another day. We're not going to get too into that, but yeah. So yeah, it seems to be a more martial arts based, which. Okay, I'm not sure if many people have decided, is this Quirk overpowered yet? But then again, the full details of this Quirk has not yet been explained. But it seems to be some acrobatic type of Quirk, or allow Midoriya to do some acrobatic stuff. But anyway, as I was just getting into the, like, 314, the lovely Lady Nagakichi, I was commenting on about how, let's see, Midoriya's caught her, and now it's trying to interrogate, saying the best way to handle Cypher is close combat, and trying to ask her about All for One. However, she's not given up yet, and I think she's using her Quirk to, like, still, let's see, push Midoriya away. I think particularly using the sniper elbow to push Midoriya out, and still trying to fire at him. Let's see. She goes on about how she's not going to spill anything, and how she's been, the Safety Commission taught her everything she knows. But then Midoriya asks her, why are you working for All for One? Because, you know, given the fact that he's a villain and you used to be a hero and all that stuff, so let's see. But she replies about how all you're seeing is a phony sense of order they manufactured. Let's see, but people just can't seem to understand the truth. Let's see. With Midoriya mention how he had, let's see, thinking to himself how she had him where she had her where he wanted him. And but yeah, but let's see. But the photo's right. You're still not quite ready for it and all that stuff. And she's still getting, and Midoriya still gets shut out. But she's still getting shut out. But she's continuing on about rambling about how after so much killing, and how she tried to preserve this sham society. Going about how groups plotting against acts of terrorism against heroes. Let's see, and all that stuff. Let's see, and talking about all the dirty deeds she had to do to preserve the law and stuff. And all the missions that she was given classified from the Safety Commission. She goes on a bit of rambling about that, and goes on about how once a time vigilantes played the role of heroes, which weren't the trust of heroes in the country, and made sure that they did their part. And you know, it led and it led to the superhero society that they got to now, which I believe if you've read My Hero Academia Vigilantes, you get a bit of glimpse of that, at least the world building of like Vigilantes.
That does make me wonder what happens at the very end of Vigilantes, and I know that's still ongoing.
But yeah, so it's like Vigilantes led the way for heroes and all that stuff. But yeah. So yeah, we end up seeing one of Lady's. Let's see, a flashback of one of Lady's. A few flashbacks of Lady Nadja carrying out a mission, assassinating terrorists before they have even done it out. Or let's see, granted, one of them is pleading for the like, saying, "We haven't done anything yet. We only started talking about." Let's see, it's never finished. Let's see. So yeah, so we see her obeying the duty, compromise, see her morality while she just carries out mission, all for the sake of like, let's see, stability. But then we get one day of her just out on public patrol. Let's see, and she sees a group of young kids who are like huge fans of her, and let's see, asking to shake her hand, and she's like willing to do it, but as soon as she grabs her hand out to them, she sees that she's visualizing her image of all the dirty blood that sustains her hand as she's about to touch them, and she draws back. And she's sort of traumatized by this, but yeah, let's see, the kids don't understand what she's seeing, but there's like they're saying about how, let's see, the Studio fans and they wanted to shake her, but she's just so shaken up by the fact that she sees her hands dirtied. And eventually, we see her sort of going like, her reflecting on that, about how it's a phony sham. And eventually, she seems to be talking with the head of, like, I think it's the Safety Commission group,
Mhm.
or at least one of the main people in charge. And I think he's ordering her to do her next assassination. Let's see. Apparently, these heroes are forcing civilians to commit crimes for them to stop, and then in order to get payments and all that stuff. But this time, Lady Nagant questions is really killing them going to improve society? Let's see, and she goes on about why should we try and why are we trying to make everything look nice and dandy when it's clearly there's this word make puppies and rainbows, but when there's some some problematic aspects that need to be brought up in the public and that stuff. But see, with the guy saying it's all necessary to preserve the hope and faith people have on the front lines of people facing heroes, rather like do all the shady stuff in the back and let all the like public heroes do their good stuff in the front, like of the image kind of thing. Let's see, and he talks about how showing that to preserve the status quo, but with the Lady Nagant questioning that, which says like with him going on about that she's quite aware that this is a job you simply can't walk away from, but she had enough, and it seems she draws her sniper gun, and it seems like she ends up implying that she killed the president, which Midoriya comments on.
Definitely.
It feels that apparently, no, she killed the president of the Safety Commission at the time. That never made the news, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
All it did say is that she killed another hero. Which I must admit is very interesting, because I'm wondering because it would be very curious to see those kids that, wanted her to shake her hand. I wonder how they all reacted to, like, hero killing another hero.
And I hate bringing realistic elements into this, but it kind of makes me wonder a little bit of the sort of behind the scenes stuff that goes on with our own society.
You mean possible, government officials hiring assassins to kill either specific individuals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that happens in our own countries. I'm not sure. Because for I know, spy movies might have exaggerated that stuff, but I can definitely see that happening in countries in the Middle East and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, that might be a bit too political, so I'm not sure how much we should
let's not go too
specific
much into that. But it does raise an interesting point.
Yeah. But yeah, in many ways, I think this could also remind me of like Cold War spy stuff, because I think that at least spy movies did that all the time about the Cold War, of like America and Russia sending assassins to their respective countries and allied countries to undermine governments and all that stuff. So it's very possible. But yeah, that definitely might have been like. But I could definitely see that being covert missions of like sending assassins or at least military guys to take out, let's see, terrorists before they even commit threats in the real world. I can definitely see that. Now, that is definitely some very question that might be considered, let's see, I'm not sure if that's any ethnical thing. I'm not sure if there's how much ethical stuff there is before that, because I think most people would agree that would probably support, let's see, terrorists being neutralized before they can, commit their acts of terror.
Definitely.
And yeah, so yeah, there's, let's see, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely, but this definitely feels like real world stuff. I'm not sure how realistic, but it's definitely. This definitely feels like a thriller spy assassin movie kind of stuff, at least.
In a sense, yeah. But keep going, Blue.
But yeah. But yeah, so let's see. She calls on about how the Safety Commission even had to keep the illusion. Let's see. So none of the behind the scenes of internal disputes, mutiny. Let's see. Just due to the media coverage, no one knew the exact nature of who she actually assassinated.
Right.
And she becomes so deluded by it that it's a fragile illusion. So so she's like, so she's honestly like saying that Midoriya just wants to bring back the status quo, and all it does will just history repeating itself.
Which, as messed up as it sounds, is actually kind of true.
So yeah, and we get a bit of a flashback to when she was, recruited by the Safety Commission thing as, I think, a young schoolgirl. And let's see.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of felt bad. I was like, wow.
But yeah,
that sucks.
And it seems like that the president she kills is the one that ended up recruiting her.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and she comments about how the public stargates the bright shiny star, but while the dark truth gawns at them, gawns away at someone else. Let's see, all that stuff. It's like the people see the true, let's see the shiny side, but they never know anything about the dark side behind the scenes, behind the stuff. But yeah, as you can see from the flashback, she seems so optimistic of when she was recruited in the hero thing. But it's just like saying, but she's on like, if the future is at least going to be ruled by like all for one, it's a lot more honest and transparent and all that stuff. Because at least you know that with all for one, you know that it's bad. You know, like he's not going to hide anything, sort of.
No.
So
and you know where it's going to lead, where it's like, okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, she ended up. Let's see. So yeah, Midoriya eventually we're able to hear us. Finally hears her. Let's see, finally locates her location. Uses the black whip and does like the 5th pinpoint focus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not sure if this is a combination of combining like the 3rd uses Quirk with black whip. I'm not sure yet. Let's see, but Midoriya comments about how he was ignorant and he's starting to see things more clearly. And then how it's like it's not all black and white, and that the world is, of course, grey, as we see from Shigaraki. Let's see, the citizens being discriminated against, Endeavor. Let's see, and also Derby.
Definitely.
Let's see, going on about a blend of fear and anger. Let's see, and even thinking of what Shigaraki might have said. Let's see, but Mitsuo says, despite the fact of like how black and white the world, how grey the world is, not everything's black and white. He's still got to lend a helping hand to try and make this society better. However, Lady Nanga, let's see, is having none of it. Feels like Midoriya is just be having like phony education brainwashed into his brain thing. It seems that she's clearly too deluded with hero society to be Ritzy persuade at the moment and all that stuff. Let's see. One more thing to think about. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So it seems like with Lady Nugget thinks like since Midoriya was able to protect his joints from moving mid-air and all that stuff, and able to focus on reading her patterns and to invade, she decides to like move her sniper gun never more than Shizaki, otherwise known as Overall, as he's shouting out, You done yet? Let's see. As he wants to desperately get to the boss, and Midoriya noticed that. Let's see, he's there, and Midoriya finally noticed that Overhaul's in the area, and it looks like she's about to aim and fire and shoot at Overhaul. The chapter
Here's the interesting thing about this that I want to bring up is that Deku doesn't know about what Shigaraki did to him. That's something that's interesting about this.
Yeah, I think he might have a general idea what Shigaraki might do, but I don't think he understands the extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's see. He knows that the League of Villains, let's see, came for Overhaul after they defeated him and his gang.
Yep.
But I don't know. And he stole the Quirk, but I'm not sure if he's ever been informed about him losing both his arms.
Yeah.
But it seems like, let's see, Overhaul is being used as, like, it seems this is the bait that Lady Naga has been using for Overhaul as insurance for. It seems like he's going to force Midoriya to try and save this villain's life, which, on one hand, it's a gone.
So that could definitely happen.
On one hand, many people like, on one hand, Overhaul is a very, let's see, Overhaul is a very irredeemable villain. I think for many people, it's like
not to mention, and I think arguably had one of the lacklusterous final battles as far as my hero goes. That's just my take on it. But
yeah, mostly what he did to Eri. Most people would definitely say he's unforgivable and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think it's also he's in a bit, and not to mention he also damaged his boss in the sense of like, so he could continue his work without him getting in the way. Though granted, he was going to eventually repair him once he became a success. But on one hand, I do feel somewhat kind of pitiful for him. It's like he's lost both his arms, which means he can never fully heal his boss, and he just desperately wants to see the boss again one last time, I guess.
I'll say this: I like how Koei's like reintroducing like these old villains again because it makes it in a way it kind of makes the not just the rise of the villain saga, but it also kind of makes the UA beginning saga, and it has a good way of like tying both of those sagas in together and kind of giving those villains a bit more relevancy to the story, and they're not just like, okay, they're like one-time deals, you know? So yeah, I do that they're able to serve a bit of purpose here.
I definitely say, it's definitely like, let's see, I think it's very common that we know that superhero villains normally don't usually die compared to despite what the movies show, but usually in comics they end up being captured or soon dead, but then come back because
or the greatest excuse for Spider-Man. Oh, look, Green Goblin died. Actually, he went all the way over to England. Like every time, everyone just has to go off to England and come back. Like, yeah, I was just in England.
Yeah, okay. I will admit, it is. On one hand, it is kind of ridiculous, but then on the other hand, I do think Spider-Man benefits for having his arch nemesis Norman Osborn around.
Oh yeah, no, it does. No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just kind of funny when you think more about it. It's like,
yeah, granted, it's not as ridiculous as the Doom bots, at least.
True, that is true.
But I definitely say, I definitely like how so far Koei has brought back these villains. Particularly Muscular was being like a sort of test run with like Midoriya trying to reason.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this time with Overhaul, instead of being like the main threat because he's powerless, but he's in a rather pitiful state. I mean, on one hand, I think it definitely Overhaul cannot be forgiven for what he's done, but it's like
definitely
he doesn't really deserve. I don't think he really deserves death. At least I think Well, granted, some might say being armless, death might be a mercy, but I guess it depends on who you ask.
True.
Though, granted, I do think it's very possible that My Hero Academia, society, is advanced enough to give him like cybernetic aesthetics, because I think that's started to be very well developed in the world at the moment, and there's many progress with that from what I can tell. Though not enough to be widespread, I believe, for those that have like lost limbs, but at the same, there's progress going towards that. So it's very possible that Shigaraki could always get somewhat of his arms back again, though probably maybe cybernetic is not actually his organic arms. But at the moment, he's being used as a hostage, and I think we know that Midoriya, given the good-natured hero he is, he will save anyone, even if it's a villain.
That is something we're definitely going to have to get into when it comes to the next chapter, which will be interesting, to say the least.
But then again, Midoriya is the noble hero, and in many ways, this is what the ideal of a hero would do: save anyone, even a bad guy.
Yep.
Of course, still making sure the bad guys doesn't harm anyone, of course, at the same time. But yeah. So that is clearly so that's Lady Nagit's current strategy of like, assassinating, trying to use Overhaul as bait to Midoriya to like, try and save him, possibly get injured in the process, since he can now predict her movements. But yeah, one thing I do also like to comment on. I think one thing about My Hero that has done better of like organically bringing back old villains into these current arcs is it was probably done a lot better than when Kishimoto ended up doing the Edo Tensei. For many of the previous characters that previously died and then came back.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that for sure.
But yeah. It definitely was much more better handled. So yeah. Not saying that the Edo Tensei idea in itself was a bad idea, just that as it comes to the two mangas,
it's like the idea of bringing them back isn't bad, but really?
Yeah. And I think you and I will probably have some more talks about this afterwards. But getting back to the chapter. I think the highlight for this, of course, is the backstory of Lady Nagit. We finally understand how she became a fallen hero.
Oh, definitely.
Due to her being a sniper, it makes sense that the Safety Commission would probably try and use her for more of the dirty work, assassination.
Yep.
And like you said, this might be based on real life events, on where governments, maybe our own, maybe definitely possibly our foreign enemies, use snipers to possibly assassinate people that get in the way. I mean, there were definitely assassins, and snipers during the Cold War. After all, President Kennedy definitely got assassinated.
Definitely.
Which was, I believe, considered a tragedy for America at the time. Let's see. And all that stuff, but yeah. So yeah. And he's definitely, granted, there's not been a president that's been assassinated since, but yeah. Let's see. So I suppose America has definitely improved its security over the last decades. So granted, that might be getting a bit too controversial here. So I better not be careless, but yeah. But it's definitely interesting that she is a sniper with like taking out villains, terrorists, and all that stuff before some of the more dirty behind the scenes stuff that the public shouldn't. That the public, the government, and I guess the Safety Commission didn't want the public to know. And as over time, she became a bit deluded with like her work to the point that she saw blood on her hand and became traumatized of it when she tried to shake some kids' hands and all that stuff. Because, even though she did dirty behind-the-scenes stuff, she also was a public hero, and she got many admirers. And eventually, when she came to question, like, the president of the commission at the time, and it's like, and she just says this, like, this is just the way things are, just do the system and all that stuff. She eventually became so deluded that she killed him herself and then got arrested and then despite the truth of it all was covered up, and instead of like assassinating the president of the commission, she was accused of assassinating Hero. Maybe even the heroes that were doing those shoddy business of forcing citizens to steal stuff to make themselves look good when they stop them and all that stuff. So I'm not sure what, but yeah. Let's see. She's pretty much publicly disgraced, and the reason for it is being covered up. So it's like, so you can see why she's deluded.
Honestly, it is kind of messed up.
Yeah. In many ways, it's kind of similar. It kind of reminds me of the truth of Itachi, where the truth behind the massacre was covered up and all that stuff, which of course led to some problems down the line.
I'd argue this is better handled. I'd argue.
I definitely say that at the moment this is probably better handled, but of course we still have to wait and see if this will eventually ever be brought to the public in real life.
True.
And all that stuff. But it is very interesting because it seems the Safety Commission, in many ways, is the closest of. It seems that it's very interesting because it seems that the Safety Commission seems to recruit certain young kids and maybe teenagers, all that stuff, and trains them specifically to be specific heroes in order for them to carry out some of the more dirtier tasks that the more public heroes that probably go throughout the normal hero training in the high schools and all that stuff like UA can't actually do. And anyways, it's the closest thing I suppose the My Hero world has to like what would Naruto have with like the Armed Black Ops and to an extent Root. In a sense.
I could see that.
At least is that if I was to compare it to another series. But yeah, I definitely find it. But it's you can definitely tell that she was deluded, especially when the president originally recruited her, and she was all smiling, and it's like you can probably can imply from the conversation that it's in the flashback implies that, because it never actually directly tells it, is that they're telling her how they can make her into a hero, and she's excited, but when they find out as time goes on, let's see, she can no longer really see her work as a hero. But I do like Midoriya's response. Now, granted, Midoriya doesn't have all the answers at the moment because at the moment she's so deluded that she'd rather have All for One's chaotic world, because at least it's honest, than the fake world that the dirty behind the scenes stuff she does that the public remain ignorant of. At least in All for One's world.
Yeah.
The ugliness is out in the open. Now, let's see, while Midoriya's admit that the world's a lot more grayer than he first realized when he became a hero, he still cannot help but do a helping hand. So it's like, despite, the fact that the world's not perfect, he's still going to try and be the best hero he can be, at least. Let's see, and that stuff. And it seems like he is trying to, and I do like how he's trying to ask her why she's a villain, and it's continuing on from it's like resolve after the fight with Shigaraki and in the sort of war arc, war raid paranormal war raid arc thing from the previous arc, is that he wants to try and understand the villains first before try and see if he can like give them a chance of redeeming and reforming them with muscular. It was clear that he was never going to reform. He just wants destruction, so Midoriya had to take him out. Now, it'll be very interesting for this one because it's like this is someone that used to be a hero, but it's now fallen and it's like no longer believes in hero stuff. So it's wondering if. So it'd be very interesting to see if Midoriya can try and persuade her what being a hero, that the ideals of a hero are still worth fighting over for. Even though that the current system and society that led to the current chaos right now was corrupt and it led to all these problems. But I don't know. Can you see Lady Nugget being reformed?
The idea of it, I can see. It's all dependent on execution. Do I see her being swayed right now? No. Could it happen over time? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it really depends, of course.
Huge maybe, but we gotta wait and see.
Yeah, but at the moment, Probably not.
I'll say this. In terms of characters, she's definitely the most fascinating one that I've come across in my hero, and especially for a female character too, in like a super long time.
Well, she's probably the second biggest main female character since Toga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, you did have that one from the Liberation Army, but she was kind of killed off before.
Yeah, I know a lot of okay. Mirko's not a villain, but I know a lot of people are super bad on Mirko too. I know that.
Marco, did you say?
Mirko, the rabbit hero.
Oh yeah, well, she's the new
Yeah.
badass female hero that everyone gets to admire. But let's see. But yeah, I mean, granted, there was a little Blava, but it looks like she's going to be reformed the next time Midoriya sees her.
Which and this goes back to something I want to say. If we get Chisaki coming back, can we please get Gentle coming back, even if it's just brief, just once?
I think we're both going to see Gentle coming back as a hero, probably.
Which I would be fine with. I think that'd be fine.
I definitely say of amongst the villains, he's definitely one of the ones that you can reform and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the police are implying that he could still, become a hero. At least from my memory.
Wild prediction theory. What if he's the one that just randomly pops in right now?
Let's see. Who knows? It's very possible he could become one of Midoriya's secret allies, but yeah.
Could.
But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it won't be another Conan situation.
Oh my god, don't say that, please.
But yeah. So there's that. But in terms of that, there's only really been before Lady Nagant, there's only really been like 3 female villains, Toga, La Brava, and that Liberation one that was killed.
Yep.
Granted, I know that the Ice member of the Liberation Front might have implied to be a girl. That's when her thing came off, but then eventually was confirmed to be a guy.
Definitely.
So yeah. But yeah, it's nice that we're getting a bit more female villains, and this seems to be the best one since Toga.
For sure.
In many ways, she might even be more interesting than Toga for the fact that she's a fallen hero.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the first we've actually seen in the world of My Hero Academia.
Yep.
Which I keep pointing out, sorry.
No, it's true, though. It's honestly true.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, normally, because we know in most superhero comics, you don't really get heroes falling from you can't really have heroes falling from bad guys because, well, that would end up, angering long-time readers of those said series, like...
you've had occasions where you have villains reform. The one that comes to mind is Venom. Like Venom technically started out as a villain, and now he's technically an anti-hero.
Yeah. He goes back from villain to anti-hero depending on who's writing it, and it depends. It gives a mixed response. There's some that like the anti-hero-ness of Venom, but there are those that feel like Venom is better off as a villain and all that stuff. And some feel like Venom is just too overused and all that stuff, or just symbiotes in general. But yeah, I was kind of referring to more of like how when DC turned Hal Jordan into Parallax, killing all the Green Lanterns and going berserk and all that stuff after the city was destroyed. Let's see, he ended up becoming a bit of a villain. And then you got this new ritzy Green Lantern in Kyle Rayner. And eventually, you had Hal Jordan kill himself after realizing just how far he'd fallen and became, I think what was his name? The Phantom? No, let's see. I'm trying to remember. Hal Jordan. What did Hal Jordan became? Hal Jordan. Let's see. He was, I think for a while, he was, Green Lantern, and then... let's see, Parallax. Oh yeah, he became the Spectre for a while. But let's see, Hal Jordan fans, of course, were not happy with this, and eventually kept arguing and complaining to DC, all that stuff to bring back Hal Jordan as a hero, and eventually ended up happening. Let's see, so it's one of the few times that I think one of the few times I can think of Mitzi fans, Mitzi complaints and demands. So granted, I think it took at least 10 years for them for DC for like a company to undo something that they didn't like with a character.
Definitely.
So so it's like for mostly like in comic books, you can't really have long-term heroes becoming villains or becoming unlikable characters because it just ends up alienating the fan bases.
For sure.
Granted, you can. So it's why you kind of get stuff like, Judgment. I'm trying to remember that famous Titans storyline. You know, with Deathstroke and Terra.
Oh, Judas Contract.
Yeah, Judas Contract. That's one of the examples of when you can have like a hero turning out to be a villain kind of thing.
Good.
But yeah. So yeah. So what else is there to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it.
But yeah, I think we pretty much talked about it. Let's see. Yeah. The only thing is, let's see. I assume that, it seems that this is definitely going to be, this fight has been going on for at least since chapter 311, I think.
I'd give it a few more chapters, I'd say.
This is definitely one of the more longer term fights. I think this is like, I don't know how, because we don't know how long this arc's going to be.
No.
And for all we know, this fight against Lady Nagin is going to be like the main focus point of this arc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hunt for the villains.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. Overall, I think I'll give this chapter a 9 out of 10. Let's see. I mean, I think it's a solid chapter. I definitely enjoyed Lady Nagin's backstory and all that stuff, and I definitely like the cliffhanger of like threatening to try and shoot. Overhaul, which I think this is what her insurance was. It was like a hero's coming after her. Use him as bait to try and, either capture or get away and all that stuff. It seems like she's actually using it. And I can definitely see Midoriya trying to save her, which probably ends up with him being injured. So I'm not sure if Midoriya is going to end up defeating Lady Naga by himself, or if eventually the top 3 heroes team of like Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Genius eventually come to save him. But I assume that probably after this fight, Midoriya will probably need to have some time to recover and all that stuff.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah. So overall, how would you grade this chapter?
Well, if I'm looking at the last chapter, I would give it a good plus. It's a good plus chapter, maybe great chapter. This chapter, and this might surprise you, Blue, I'm going to give this chapter the pure perfection rating.
So you're giving this one a 10 out of 10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, maybe I should give this a 10 out of 10, but I've only given it a 9 out of 10, so...
Because the backstory with Lady Nagin and getting, her little perspective on the matter, kind of with some of the things you said, but it brings a really, really interesting element into the story of my hero and delves into something that I don't think a lot of shonen manga do, which is...
I think, there have been shonen manga that tried to have done it, but never
they only scratched the surface, though. Like, this one's actually kind of like going into this one, though. Like, it's not much, but you see, like, oh, okay, so we're getting what's happening within the system itself, which I think is really fascinating.
So yeah. Anyways, there's been many themes of in Japan manga of child soldiers and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is also mostly due to Japan's own history, particularly during the Imperial Age, of where, people, like indoctrinated to like be loyal to like Japan, the Emperor, and all that stuff. And I think this is definitely one of the reflections of this. But yeah, I think there might be some meta commentary on it. I'm not sure. I mean, we don't really understand. I don't really know. Kohei's politics and all that stuff, but you can make those comparisons if you want. But yeah. Overall, but yeah, it's a 9 to 10 out of 10 kind of chapter.
For sure.
And Thank you for joining me, Lucky Chi. I'm not sure if you want to join me for the next chapter review. Oh, wait, let's see and all that stuff.
I'd be totally down for the next one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I would do it on Friday or Monday. Let's see. Granted, I'm hoping for Friday you and I discuss Kong versus Godzilla at last.
Mhm.
But overall, I'm Blue Star Saber.
Lucky G
And we are signing out. Plus Shelter. Goodbye, everyone.
plus Ultra.